Hello, everybody. How you doing today? My name is Tony Zano, and this is Online Marketing Moves. I don't know what episode number this is. I'm not even going to lie to you. But we know today is November the 27th. I believe today's November the 27th. All I know is today is the day after Thanksgiving, ladies and gentlemen. It's Happy Black Friday for you people that are going to go out and get 10% off on TVs and everything like that. No, I'm just kidding. Me, myself, I'm driving back home. I just came from the store. I did the opposite of Black Friday. I bought the things I need, you know, like a broom. I broke the broom yesterday. It was sweet. But, you know how that goes. Not a lot of people that was at the store. You know, I went to Wally World. Not a lot of people at old Walmart today, you know. Maybe they wait. I know me myself, I know my wife, and she likes to wet up that Amazon, so she'll probably buy most of her stuff off Amazon and have it delivered to our house, which at this point I can't really blame her, you know what I mean? You don't want to be in the store too long, you know, you don't want to be in there doing a whole lot of shopping. Plus, I mean, me myself, I used to think that online shopping was, like, hey, they're gonna get my information, but they already got all that information. You know what I mean? Like, why fight something that's already, you can protect your information. Don't get me wrong, there's nothing wrong with that. But as far as people acting like, because I had a conversation with my barber the other day, and he was telling me how a lot of his customers over the age of 50, he's like, I'm losing a lot of customers over the age of 50. And I'm like, oh, why is that? And he's like, because they want to just do walk-ins. And I'm like, walk-ins? I'm like, why do walk-ins? I'm like, you can't have like 4 or 5 people sitting down in a little, it's a very confined space, this barber shop that I go to. And he's like, yeah, I know. He's like, well, what the hell are we going to do? Sit in here 4 or 5 people breathing on each other and get what? Coronavirus? And I'm like, yeah, that's very true. So he was like, some people like, I had my father-in-law. He's like this. He just wants to sort of roll up to the barbershop and like, hey, let's sit down and hang out. And me myself, I'm like, nah, I'd just rather make an appointment, go in there at a certain time, get my hair cut, because I like my barber. We have a nice relationship. We have a nice rapport. We talk about different things, and I call him up every now and then, see how he's going, and see how things are going, when I'm not getting my hair cut, and then, just say what's up, and things like that, But I'm not gonna go sit around and just hang out for hours on end, waiting to get a haircut. Those days over with, Plus, I'm when you press for time, sometimes it's like I don't want to sit in there all day and be waiting around. So he said he was losing a lot of customers, but those are just people that don't want to change. You know what I mean? So that's a whole nother topic for another podcast. But today we're going to talk about confidence and belief. I watched this movie yesterday. Oh yeah, before I get started, yesterday I did a podcast. It was a quick 5-minute Thanksgiving Day podcast, and we was having problems with the oven, but I'm happy to tell you that me, Tony Rizano, Mr. Can't Fix Much, got in there, got the stove to working. We finished out the Thanksgiving meal, and everything worked out just fine. You see, ladies and gentlemen, sometimes even though you have a weakness, like I know that. Let's be honest. My wife, she says something all the time. She's like, I wish you knew how to fix things. I'm like, sorry, you married the wrong fella. I know how to get stuff back to it can work, but I'm not gonna. I remember my dad. He used to be like, yeah, we can fix that. No, we not gonna fix it. He can get it. He can fix stuff to get it back to normal. He can get it. He can get it working. But as far as like fully functional, fixed it's gonna work for the next 100 years. Nah, I'm not that person. I can get it fixed long enough for you to get what you need done, and then you might want to call your local repairman, because I don't have the know-how. I don't have the patience to learn the know-how, and quite frankly, sometimes I just rather pay somebody. I'd rather make the monies and pay somebody. You know what I mean? It's like, nah, that's not my thing. You know. Now my brother-in-law, the union rep, our union representative, he comes down every now and then and he fixes stuff. He likes that kind of stuff, you know. And I like hanging out with him, watching him fix it. It's fine. It works for me. And I'm like, hey, go for it, man. You know, you want to fix this? You want to fix that? Shit, be my guest. You know what I mean? But anyway, so I know you was worried with bated breath about would the oven get fixed, where we have to drive somewhere down the highway to get our Thanksgiving meal done, you know. But no, we got the oven fixed. Everything's good to go. I was happy about that. I was excited about that. Now we pulled into the driveway. We're not even going to get out. We're just going to continue the podcast. Okay, ladies and gentlemen. Now, I watched the movie yesterday. I watched the movie last night. It was based on a true story. Now, I have to say, you know, I used to think, I don't know about you, but when I used to watch these movies and it was like it's a true story, I never, they would always put the title based on a true story, but I thought it would be like blow by blow. But the more I started, you know, whenever I watch a movie, I don't know about you, but whenever I watch a movie, I've gotten to the habit of Googling during the movie, but so I stopped that. I said, I'm not going to do that anymore. I wait till after the movie to see if it's like how much of it in the movie is true and how much of it is fiction, because, you know, for some reason I kept thinking, oh, okay, yeah. What made me, listen, we're going to get to the podcast, but what made me think about this was, I remember one time I was in Pennsylvania. This was when I was full-fledged trucking, you know, just always gone all the time. And I was in Pennsylvania. I was in Allentown, Pennsylvania. I'll never forget this. And I stopped. I had a lot of time on my hands that day. I couldn't pick my load up to Sunday, and it was Saturday afternoon. And I said, oh, I should go to the movies, because at that point, I got so familiar with Allentown. You know, I used to stop and get Stone Cold ice cream, or Cold Stone, not Stone Cold. But so I stopped in. I watched this movie, Invincible. You know, it was about a guy named Vince Papaglia. You know, and so, you know, I'm watching the movie. You know, and I'm like, oh, that's a good movie. You know. And then I remember I went back later on and got on my computer, because I still think I don't believe I had an iPhone at that point. So I got on my computer later on, you know, and I looked up, you know, Vince Papaglia, and looked at the movie, and they was, you know, basically it's like, oh, this movie was good, but it's a lot of fiction involved, you know. Like they said he was already playing like semi-professional football. They didn't really say that in the movie, this, that, and the other. And I was like, oh. I say his life is true, but then they throw in bits and pieces to make it, you know, a better movie, you know. And in my goofy brain, I used to think it was like blow by blow, like true. And I'm like, why would I think that? I guess because I never paid attention, though. Once I go to the movies, like for me, you ever have a place where you go and you just like, you know what? I'm turning my brain off. For me, the movies is the place I go, you know, and I just turn my brain off. I'm like, I'm not going to think. I'm not going to do a whole lot of, you know, I just want to sit here. I just want to enjoy the movie. You know, I can turn life off, you know, turn the world off for a couple hours. You know? For me, the movies are like my zone of doing that, you know. Now, of course, now, you know, when I watch a movie, because last night I was watching a movie, and I was kind of zoning out. But then I was picking up on some stuff, and I was like, oh, okay, I'm gonna talk about this in the podcast, you know. And me and my wife, we watched this movie. Now, we're going to get to the movie now, you know. But watch this movie. It's based on a true story. It's about a girl. Her and her brother lived in Africa. And her brother was selling, you know, corn for the mother, because they were poor, you know. And so the brother one day, he's like, here you go, sell it for me. And she was like, where you going? He's like, nah. You know, he didn't want to tell her, you know. So then eventually she followed him, you know, and he was going where he was going. He was learning how to play chess. You know, he was going to his place, and they would give them, you know, food. They would give them porridge, you know, and they would play chess. And apparently she didn't know how to read. She didn't know how to do, you know, she wasn't getting education because her mother had her working for her. Her mother said, well, you know, we need to make money. So She learned how to play chess. She got real good at chess, And then it comes to the point they took her to they lived in Uganda, and they took her to Sudan for a chess tournament, And so then she got out of that little town she was in. They went to Sudan. They started doing things like staying at a nice hotel. She started eating like, regular, normal food. Not normal. I ain't gonna say normal food, but different food that she has probably never eaten before. You know what I mean? It's like, well, if you're from, Maine, eating lobster or whatever, crab or whatever the hell, fish. Eating fish in Maine is probably not like it's not like a special thing, But I'm sure a man in Nebraska probably doesn't eat a lot of fish. You know what I mean? If that makes any sense, but because in Nebraska it's a lot of beef. You get what I'm saying. But anyway, so she went up there and she got introduced to a different world, a different culture, Then when she came back, she won the tournament. So she came back, she was full of confidence. She was like, Her mother was like, come on, get to work. She's like, I'm a champion. Why do I have to do this? Why do I have to do that? She was overconfident. She wanted to go to Russia because at the tournament, somebody told her to say, oh yeah, somebody gets paid a stipend to go to Russia and have a coach. She's like, why come I'm not getting paid? How come I need a coach and all this kind of stuff, So she had a lot of confidence, and she wanted to go to another tournament in like Russia somewhere to try to become a grand master. Now, she went to this tournament. She was still young, but she was the confidence was through the roof, and the confidence was just too much. So she went to this tournament, and she was up against players that were very, very strong. They were stronger than her, and she went down in a ball of flames, defeated. And what the whole point of all this is, I don't know if you've been listening to this podcast for a long time, I've said this before. Confidence is great to have, but confidence leaves you, Confidence is temporary, like I got my haircut Tuesday. I was like, oh man, I look good, blah, 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 Tuesday for a few hours, I had a lot of confidence in my haircut. I'm like, look at my haircut. Look at me, But confidence is fleeting. Confidence comes and goes, Confidence comes when it want to come. You know what I mean? Confidence is here today, it's gone tomorrow. But what you have to replace confidence with, because confidence is, like I just said, temporary. But what you have to replace confidence with is a belief system. You know what I mean? You have to believe in what you are doing, Now, eventually, this girl, she went on. She did become successful in her chess. She got back to it, it's like you can't just take one loss and be like, oh, that's it, because she wanted to quit, But she came back. She started doing more and more, and then once you start, the more practice you do, the more you put work into something, the more you gain a belief system, not a confidence, It's just like I'm confident that today I'm doing a good podcast, but there's a point for like a 2-week stretch. There was a 2-week stretch where I just felt like I was like I had no confidence in the podcast, and me doing a good podcast. But what I had was a belief system. Every day I was like, you know what? I'm gonna wake up. I'm gonna do the podcast, even though right now my confidence is kind of wane. It's not there. I was like, my belief system in the podcast, my belief system in what I'm doing, the hours that I do this, and the hours that I practice this, and the hours that I think about this, have led me to have a belief system that I know, you know what? The content that I produce is good. The content that I produce is worthy of people to listen to. So that's my belief system. And the same goes for you. Confidence will come, confidence will go. Yes, there are some things that we are confident about, but confidence, confidence is like the wind. It blows in and it blows out. You know what I mean? But your belief system, it's like the sun. It rises every day. You know what I mean? So don't think for 1 second, whenever you're trying to do something, don't, because some days you're going to feel great about it and you're going to be like, yeah, I got this. Some days it's going to be like, do I? But if you, and deep down, confidence is surface level. Belief is a deep down feeling, Believe in what you're doing. And it will lead to great things. Because every day it's not going to be, hey, man, I'm the greatest. Some days you're going to be like, I don't even know. But if you just believe in what you're doing and you just keep going, keep those feet moving, it's going to all work out. It's like, I'll give you another example. Me, myself, I don't have a belief system when it comes to cooking. I'm not a great cook by any means. I can't get in the kitchen and whip up anything, But the one thing that I am confident about, I'm confident that I make excellent beef stew and cornbread, Those two things right there, I'm like, confidence. If I go in the kitchen and you say, hey, cook beef stew and cornbread, then I'm like, yep, I already know I can do that. Confidence comes and I'm in there cooking. I'm like, boop, 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 boop. But if you say, hey, go in there and make a lasagna, I got no confidence, so we strike one, and then in the belief system, nah, I'll be like, nah, this ain't gonna turn out good. And it's probably not gonna turn out good because I have a negative image. I have a negative imagery towards making lasagna. I'm like, I don't think so. I don't think it's gonna work. So, you have to believe, you have to just believe. Once you develop a belief system, it's a lot better than saying, the confidence, because the confidence, as we said like 3 times already, the confidence fades, but the belief system will always be there. Even when you think, what am I? What am I? I'm telling you, trust me. Whenever you think, what am I doing? Why am I doing this? That belief system will kick in, and that belief system will say, come on, man, let's get up. Let's go get them. I left my house. I'll tell you, this is a belief system. I left my house. Normally in the past, last year at this time, I would have took my phone, my keys, my wallet, and my headphones. You know what I took this time? I was like, I took my phone, wallet, keys, took my phone, and I brought my microphone. And I said, oh yeah, we got a podcast to do, Because I know now, I believe now that I have something to say, and I know people want to hear what I have to say. I believe that I have a belief that I can help people. You know what I mean? Like, and then that's where you have to get. That's where you have to get to. You want to have a belief in yourself. You want to have a belief in the thing that you're doing. You want to have a belief that what I'm doing will work. What I'm doing will get me to where I want to go, Just remember that, boys and girls. But anyway, that's it for today. Believe. Confidence is great. Confidence is fine. Confidence comes, confidence goes. But just remember, have that belief system down pat, everything will work out. That, and now I'm not saying, you want to have a positive, try to get like before you do something, think positive about it before you do it, Because if you come in, I know we'll wrap the podcast up, but I'm going to just tell you like this, and this is true. I've tried this before. Now, I'm not saying, think about having $1 billion, because you got to put in the work. And of course, you got to put in the work, but you come into anything with a negative image or negative, thinking. 9 times out of 10, it ain't gonna work. You know what I mean? Like, it's not going to work. It's not going to get you where you want it to be. But if you think positive, now I'm not saying, just sit there and think positive and shit's gonna fall out the sky, I mean, stuff's gonna fall out the sky. But if you have a positive mind frame about the thing that you want to do and you just put in the work, then it might not happen when you want it to happen. Of course, might take a little more time, might take a little less time, you never know. But I believe this is me personally thinking, I believe if you start putting some positive energy into the thing that you want to do and you start putting in the work that you want to do. Now, of course, it might not be exactly what you want, exactly when you want it, but I believe in due time, it'll happen. You know what I mean? So, just keep that in mind, with the belief system. I always think positive. Like the other day, I told you, and I was starting to make these phone calls and texting these people. I text 50 people, 75 people, something like that. It's a lot of people. I was texting the email, and I just kept thinking to myself. And I was like, you know what? I'm going to think positive. I'm going to think that this is working. And I didn't even look. I just kept. I was just barreling through. I was just texting them, sending them emails, texting them, sending emails. And then when I finally got done and I looked and I had some responses and I was like, oh, great. You see? If I would have been like, well, try this out, let's see. No. All positive, took the action, and things work out. Of course, you email 75 people, you want 75 people to email you back. But we all know that ain't going to happen. You have to be realistic, It's like a recipe, A dash of reality, a cup of action, and, some belief. Pour that in, and, things go where you go where you want them to go, But anyway, that's it for today. I hope you enjoyed this podcast. My name is Henry Zano. We'll be back tomorrow with another episode. But until then, take care. Watch out for those people trying to say those bogus discounts. No, I'm just kidding. Do some online shopping. Wear a mask out there, people. It's getting cold out here, But anyway, it's getting cold. It's flu season and coronavirus. You believe that? Me, I thought by now we would be stopped wearing masks, but I lost that race a long time ago. But anyway, that's it for today, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Tony Zano. This is Online Marketing Moves, and we will talk to you later. And as always, everybody, peace.